Hello, welcome to Dungeons Podcast. I'm your host, Justin. So today, I finally finished reading Earth X, which is 13 or I would say it's like a 13 issue miniseries that came out in 2000, written by Jim Krueger, with art by John Paul Leon, with covers and character designs by Alex Ross. I have the graphic novel here. I paid like $40 for it. It's like US. It's like 30. Collects it. Collects. Oh, sorry. Collects all 12 issues of the Earth X series plus the Zero and X bookends. That block and more. Okay, I was just reading it back. So maybe it's 14 issues. I don't know. So I just finished reading this, and boy, what a read! It took me. I think I started reading it last weekend, and it took me till like today, which is Thursday, to finish it. Man, it was a long read. So the story for this book is basically Earth. It takes place in the future of the Marvel universe. Earth inhabitants has all become mutated into mutants or inhumans, which are basically the same thing, and this causes a lot of problems. And it's implied that even the animals on Earth have become like humanoid mutants as well. So like that causes a massive food shortage, and because the inhabitants of Earth are all superpowered beings, the need for superheroes have decreased. The only superheroes around are Captain America, an aging Captain America who wears like the American flag as a toga, who's hairless now, and his new sidekick is Wyatt Wingfoot, aka Red Wing, which is obviously a replacement for Falcon, not Red Falcon. For years I used to call Falcon Red Falcon, not realizing it's just Falcon. I blamed that shitty 2000 Avengers cartoon. Did they call him Red Falcon in that show? I don't remember, but yeah. So like the main story for this book is that a lot has changed on Earth, and the main focus of the book is that it starts off with Aaron Stack, aka Machine Man, getting kidnapped by Uatu the Watcher, and is asked to take his place as the new Watcher because Uatu the Watcher has become blinded, and he watches the Earth from the moon, right? And when he kidnapped Machine Man, he also got rid of his synthetic skin and turned him into a transparent robot, which Aaron Stack, the Machine Man, isn't too happy about, and Uatu keeps calling him X-51. And while the events in the book are happening, Uatu is telling X-51, aka Aaron Stack Machine Man, the history of Earth and the Marvel Universe. There's also several storylines going on. The Inhumans return from space to Earth to warn Reed Richards of a threat that could happen to Earth, and they're also on Earth to marry their niece to their son, to Black Bolt and Medusa's heir, who isn't revealed to the end of the book. Another storyline going on is that there's this character called the Skull, who is this teenage brat who has the power to mind control mass groups of people, and who's threatening to take over America and possibly the world. And Captain America is trying to stop him to the point where he goes to the different countries led by former superheroes like Captain Britain rules England, Colossus rules Russia for some reason, and Sunfire, who's the Japanese superhero, runs Japan, and they form an army to try to stop the Skull, which, and I'm not going to spoil it, but like in most books like this, the the first try is going to fail, which they even have a contingency plan to deal with the Skull's mind control until the second fight, right? While this is going on, you also have like Bruce Banner, who has become a kid, who is separated from the Hulk. The Hulk is this mindless, like gorilla-looking thing, who's been warned by Captain Marvel, who's dead, by the way, in his dreams that, hey, something weird is going on. So he goes to see the current Sorcerer Supreme, which is Clea, right? And pretty much, there's a big threat that's happening to Earth, and and there's plot points, massive plot points into betrayals, a big epic battle including the Celestials and Galactus, which was really cool. It was really cool to see Galactus and the Celestials fight it out on Earth, which I don't want to spoil too much about this story. My biggest problem with the book is that the book is just trying so hard to be Watchmen, to be Marvel's version of Watchmen, and to the point where, in between the issues, you have pages of dialogue with Alex Ross illustrations on the corners, where it's just like X-51 and you ought to talking back and forth, and there's history lessons, and these pages are usually I would say 4 to 6 pages long, that really fucking slow down the pacing of the book, and it was super annoying. Oh my god, right? And then there's the problem with the art, the in-book art, where the in-book art looks, it's the thing where when they draw the different superheroes in the books, they look cool, but for normal people and stuff, it looks like, it just, the artwork itself looks like it belongs, the artist should be used for gritty crime books, not for an epic superhero crossover, right? And epic superhero crossover, it just, the art doesn't really match the epic story they're trying to tell in this book, which is epic, but oh my god, it just it just gets pandering, and there's a lot of philosophy, and it's just wow, the book is just try hard Watchmen rip off in a way. And then there's the fact they constantly in the book they rewrite Marvel history, where it wasn't really about this, it's about that, or whatever. They just rewrite characters' histories, and it's wow, it's super annoying. Jack Kirby's Eternals, they take the Eternals, and really the Eternals were bad guys, right? And it's what the fuck, dude? That's fucking ripped off. But I thought, some of the character designs were cool. The character designs by Alex Ross and Charles Carroll were cool, and it was I thought it was interesting that you had in this world where everybody's a mutant, the Thing, Ben Grimm, it can finally be happy, and he has he's married to Alicia, and they have 2 kids who are just two two tiny things, two tiny copies of the things, which they're both named after astronauts. One's called Buzz, other one's like Chuck, which obviously Buzz Buzz is I think is named after Buzz Armstrong, and is it Buzz Armstrong or is that Neil Armstrong? Oh no, Buzz Aldrin, isn't that an astronaut? And like Chuck is obviously Chuck Yeager, which I don't really know my astronauts. I'm not a huge fan of NASA, because in my opinion, there's a lot of videos that NASA puts out that looks very fake, especially the one where the woman, like, is there's like NASA footage where they're supposed to be in space, but how they fake how they're in space is they have the one chick, one of the female astronauts, hairspray her hair, like stiff that it's standing up, and they tried to like use that as proof that that they're in like 0G, when it's clearly like her hair was hairsprayed stiff. It's like, Jesus Christ, I used to use hairspray all the time, man, back in the day when you would have you would try to keep your spike, I like back in the day I used to have like the hair spike, the hair spike hairstyle. Yeah. Yeah, and so, and there's some like characters in the book that like changed a lot over years. Like you have Wolverine is a fat layabout. Jean Grey also got fat. Peter Parker Spider-Man is like, there's a subplot where he's fat and old. He doesn't want to be a superhero anymore, and his daughter, who's sexy as fuck, called May, becomes the new Venom, and he has to don a costume again to try to save her because she gets captured by the Skull, which I just want to say it was really dumb that Captain America convinced all these superheroes to form this army to stop the Skull without coming up with a strategy or plan on how to nullify like the Skull's like mind control powers, which the way they did it at the end was kind of clever, because the Skull can't control robots or like constructs, right, or other forms of constructs. So they come up with a clever plan there. Which I also forgot to mention that Tony Stark, the Avengers were killed, so Tony Stark creates the Iron Avengers, which are just like Iron Man Iron Man copies of the Avengers. So there's like a Iron Man Wasp Avenger, giant Iron Man. There's a Iron Hawkeye. Except for the Vision. The Vision's still alive. I think there was even an Iron Scarlet Witch, which and they all have well, the Iron Wasp doesn't shrink. She just stays the same size. Yeah, they didn't replicate their powers. Yeah, which but I guess Iron Man can only do so much. But yeah, I thought that was cool. There's a lot of cool stuff in this book. It was a pretty cool read, but yeah, it has its problems, man. And it's and I thought it was a bit too long, right? And then there was subplots that didn't really go anywhere, or they were just cut short, right? There's a subplot where Scott Summers creates this new X-Men team, and the X-Men team are useless. They don't even do anything. And so it's what was the point of that? And the point was to put out more spin-off books based off this universe, like Universe X Volume 2, Paradise X Volume 1, Paradise X Volume 2, which I have no idea if I'm going to read these books or not, because it just seems what's the point, right? And one problem I also have is the Skull, the Skull character, which they never talked about what happened with Reed Richards' son, Frank, Franklin, uh, Franklin. So the entire time reading this book, I thought the Skull was Franklin because he kind of looked like him. But then, like, you find out, oh, actually, Franklin Richards was somebody else, which I'm not gonna spoil who. But I was like, what the fuck? Then who the fuck was the Skull? Oh my god. So yeah, I'm only giving this book a 7 out of 10. There's some cool stuff in this book, but really, it's a good read. But it's the thing where, like, if you're looking for epic crossovers, there's cooler stuff to read. But overall, this was a solid book. But I'm a little disappointed. Like, I thought it would be better. Alright. That's the problem with Alex Ross covers, man. You expect, like, you expect to get, like, Kingdom Come quality, and, like, it's not. I really should reread Kingdom Come to see, was it as good as I remembered it being? I need to find out. Yeah. So that's it for this review. The next book we're going to review is Starlight, The Return of Duke McQueen, which is a Mark Millar book. So look forward to that. And after that, we're going to review a DC book. Was going to review Titans Games, but I'm thinking we're either going to review before Watchmen or like a Superman book or something. And that's it for this review. Peace, guys. Like, comment, subscribe.